Hello everybody. So a few weeks ago I was talking about the Orange ModWorks Immortal Longshot kit, and I got pulled away from that project because I was working on the Super Strife, and now I'm doing some commission work and just a bunch of other stuff. But as you can see, it's over here, and I finally got back to it, and I finished the shell for it. It's a long shot, obviously, with a foregrip mod. It's also got LEDs, but I'll go over that in a minute because I'm getting a little ahead of myself. This blaster was constructed entirely to show the performance of the Orange ModWorks kit, and this is an all polycarb kit. It's currently got the 5 kg spring in it, and I have no other mods internally done to this blaster because it's purely to reflect how the kit works in stock form if you were to buy it from Orange ModWorks. Now, while there are a few things that I could do to the kit, like remount the back of the plunger tube just a little bit, not the plunger tube, but the chamber, the dart chamber, that could be reamed out just a little bit, make it feed a little easier. And if this were something for me personally, I would do that. But again, this is to reflect the performance of the clip. But I would like to go over the blaster. This is actually a Series 1 long shot, the one that has all orange internals. It's either from 06 or 07, I forget which one, but it's whatever the first edition was. And that was purely as a throwback because I'm kind of modeling this off the first long shot I ever made on YouTube all 5-6 years ago now. Just a crazy long amount of time. So for you diehard fans, you already kind of know what you're looking at with this foregrip design. This is the first foregrip I used. I think it was on my third long shot I decided to do a foregrip, and it was a loop design where these are, in the original design, this was a CPVC just pull and then a loop of the original long shot barrel material, and obviously I refined it a little bit. This is nylon rod and just a larger size tube of, I don't know what plastic, but one of the ones I keep in the rafters, and just I think this is a 2.5 inch guard to connect the two, and then there's just a threaded rod that goes through the center of the bolt sled to keep it in shape. Works pretty well. It's a little stiff, but that's because I just painted it. Literally, I got this blaster done yesterday, and I just assembled it a few minutes ago to do this video, and I'll say more on that in a minute. So it's just a little bit stiff right now, but I'm going to lubricate it because I actually forgot to do that when I was putting it together. And as soon as that's done, I'm sure it'll, pan out a little bit. The paint is another thing I need to go over, and this, while I'm doing this segment, it's just going to be close-ups on the blaster because I've never done really bright colored blasters on a long shot other than red, and I didn't want to do red over again because I've probably done at least 10 red long shots, and while that looks really nice, I just wanted to do something different. So this was an orange base. It's actually 2 different shades of orange. It ends up just looking like one shade, but I started with a deeper shade just to cover the black a little more evenly, and then I did the lighter shade on top of that. But I didn't really like the way that looked. It was just a little too flamboyant for me. So I did something I almost never do, which I just dry blushed the entire blaster with the Citadel color bolt gun metal. So it looks worn, it looks old, but it doesn't look, decrepit. It just looks used, which gives it a very different feel than the majority of the blasters I paint, and I think it's a nice contrast. Also, I have LEDs in the normal placements. Now this, actually the LEDs I did entirely today because I didn't actually think I was going to have time to put them in, but after I finished the paint job it just came out so well that I felt stupid if I wouldn't put them in. So they run off this switch, and it's just one circuit that runs in parallel. There's 4 LEDs in the back and 3 in the front, and it's only on one side of the shell, but they're centered directly in the midline of the shell, so it distributes light evenly on both sides. So not a big deal there. This switch is also different than I would normally do. Normally I'd have a slide switch down here or down here. It's just something a little different, something a little more fun for this blaster. Going over the kit itself. The kit is very smooth. The precision, the molding lines on the Orange ModWorks kit are all, as far as I can tell, they're perfect copies to the stock Longshot kit. The only difference is they're made out of a stronger polycarbonate, which is really important for stuff like the bolt sled, which commonly breaks all the time in normal long shots. But the plunger tube itself is not tapered, whereas in normal long shot it would get larger in the back. This tube is the same inner diameter for the whole way, which means the seal on the plunger head is 100%, the whole length of the plunger tube, and it's actually so efficient to the point where the dart is actually leaving the dart chamber before the plunger has hit the end of the plunger tube. And after Orange Mod Works realized this, they're actually now making a closed style breeching system. No idea when that's going to come out, but sometime in the future, just because the plunger tube is just that efficient. So here's just a quick firing demo. There was some people complaining about the use of elite darts with the Orange Mod Works kit. I haven't had any such problems, so I'm just going to use standard elite darts. 6-shot clip, 6 darts. Here we go. So the grip is just a little bit sticky right now, and I'll probably end up lubing the inside of these brackets for the nylon bars just to get it a little bit less friction on the actual grip itself. But one of the reasons I did a foregrip, other than it just being a throwback to the first long shot I've done, is it presses equally, it distributes the weight equally on both sides of the bolt sled, which is a lot more healthy for it than if you were to just use the standard bolt, which is distributing, like 70% of the weight on just this left side, and then about 30% on the right as the bolt kind of bends and swerves as you're trying to apply pressure to it. So this is actually extending the life of this bolt sled. Now, it's an Orange Mod Works sled, which means it's a really high quality polycarbonate and all that junk, but I don't care. Unless it's titanium, it's going to break eventually, just because that's how bolt sleds are. Now, granted, that might be 3,000–4,000 shots with a polycarbonate sled, which is fantastic. But you get that 3,000th, 4,000th shot, and it's going to snap. Which is why it's really nice that Orange Mod Works supplies a place to actually just buy the bolt sled, so you don't have to go waste, upwards of $50 now that these aren't even made anymore to get a new long shot just for the bolt sled. And you don't have to go part hunting. It's just a whole lot easier. So that's basically why I put the foregrip on it. Other than that, there is some sad news about this blaster. Well, sad for me, great for you guys. This is actually for sale. I really, really don't want to sell it. I really want to keep it, but I'm funding a trip to go spend the week with Coop in Ohio, and I need to pay for gas. So this is going to be up on eBay. The description will be in the link below. It's just going to be the blaster and probably a 6-shot and a 12-shot clip and full darts for that, so 18 darts. Pretty standard. One thing I forgot to say is the back plate here, the stock, whatever, this has like 5 or 6 screws. When that gets removed, the batteries for the LED circuit can be independently accessed, whereas previously you'd have to undo entire blasters to get to the battery compartment. I made sure, because this is for sale and just because it's a whole lot easier in general, that this can just be removed, just this one side to access the batteries. This side has a PVC stock block in it. Obviously you're not going to be able to compress this stock because it has the light beams here, which is just clear polycarbonate when the light isn't there, which obviously wouldn't allow the stock to move through it. So the stock does not compress, but that's also kind of nice because you can push on it really hard when you're priming, and it just gives you an easier time. I know there was more I wanted to say, but I can't remember what it is, and to prevent from rambling, I'm just going to end the video here. So I will see you guys real soon.